KSL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you into a very special Friday. Our Fridays are always Big Chief Tire Fridays. Well, guess what? This is really a Big Chief Tire Friday because we're live from, well, guess what? Big Chief Tire, the brand new Mandarin location. Man, we're happy to be here. The 6th location. We have so many great sponsors on this radio station, and I don't know there's any that I feel more strongly about than our friends at Big Chief Tire. They've been our Friday sponsor for the longest time, and we are helping them launch this beautiful new location. They're cutting the ribbon on this thing. The Chamber of Commerce is up here, or out here, as they cut the ribbon. And what a day today. Talk about a giveaway. Come by and say hello. Hamburgers, hot dogs, soft drinks. All you have to do is come on by and you eat for free. Anybody that comes by today gets a coupon for $100 off any set of tires. All you do is come into the parking lot, get your coupon, get a burger. How good is that? Next time you need a set of tires, that's $100 off. And if that's not enough, they're giving away not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 sets of tires today. Michelin, Cooper, Salem, I hope I'm saying that right, and Advanta tires are all being given away today at 5 o'clock. So get by before 5 o'clock. You don't have to be here to win, but come by before 5 o'clock, and you've got a great chance to win. Those sets of tires are all being drawn there. So we are excited about being here with our friends at Big Chief Tire Company. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline is on vacation one last day. JJ LaSelva back at World Headquarters. My friend Lauren Brooks has stopped by. How'd you get wrangled into this? Did I do this?
Our friends at Big Chief Tire said, "We love you. Come on out."
You know what? And they do, so I believe that. So the way we've done this week with Hayes on vacation, Hacker's been in most of the week with JJ and me. Today we figured since Hacker had been working so much, let's let Hacker work in the noon with you on Helmets and Heels. He was kind enough to do that. He gets a couple hours off before he does his second shift. And you're kind enough to do 2 shifts, so thank you for that.
Of course, absolutely.
Even though we kind of wrangled you into this, so we appreciate that. So
love doing it, and we'll see who's better as a co-host today, Hacker or you.
Yeah. I know. You know what? I'm playing uphill. Okay, I understand it's playing uphill. I get that. But Lauren and I have done a lot of radio together over the years, so we'll look forward to that. So a whole bunch of things. And I'm going to get your thoughts on stuff that you and I haven't had a chance to talk about. The rest of us had with our various co-hosts some time to get visit with folks. So we'll get to that coming up in just a bit. Mino, how you doing? You good? Helmets and Heels good? You everything life good in your world? Any fun vacations? You went somewhere.
Went somewhere recently?
No, not recently. We went on vacation. Was it a beach or Puerto Rico or Costa Rica?
We went to Puerto Rico in February/March.
Bahamas or Aruba somewhere.
Yeah, that was my 5th
I'm counting
time.
that.
That counts. It just doesn't feel recently.
Okay.
Florida won a men's basketball national championship since then. But
I might have been there for that. So
you were absolutely there. I was very jealous that you were in San Antonio, staying up until all wee hours of the night, really morning as that boat parade.
I slept 46 minutes that night. Okay. 46 great minutes. I just slept 46 minutes.
I will say, I don't know that anyone else could sleep that little, get on a plane, come to Jack's, and do radio post all the libations that occurred.
There were some libations, but I had great energy. I did. I went to the boat parade. Went to bed I had to get up at 4 a.m. to make my flight. So I set my alarm on my phone for 4 a.m. Shut my eyes at 3:14. Slept 46 minutes. Got up. Ready to go. It was 46 good minutes. I mean, there was 40 deep REMs in those 46 minutes.
Most people would not be able to fall asleep because they know I have to wake up in 45 minutes.
46. It was 46, and I got up and I was ready to go. But so you had a vacation. You guys go a lot, right?
We go.
Lauren's husband Brian is a very good surfer. So you go a lot of times to where the surfing areas are.
Yes, yeah. He would edit that and say he loves to surf. He would say there are people that are better than him at surfing, but he absolutely loves it. Yeah, so we've been on vacation snowboarding, but I don't snowboard. Not that I surf either, but I'm really good hanging out on the beach, and so we love the tropical vacation. So, yeah, we've been to Puerto Rico. I've been 5 times now. It's fantastic.
How about that? It's cool. Cool. Very good. All right, a lot of things to get to today on the program again. We do want to thank our friends from Big Chief Tire. JJ LaSelva back at World Headquarters. How you doing, JJ? You good? How's your world?
I'm great. How are you?
We are fantastic. JJ's handled headlines for us. He's knocked it out of the park.
I think he's done a fantastic job. I listen.
Yeah, I could fire Hayes. I mean, we could fire him. We could just fire him. Yeah, I mean, listen,
I like Hayes.
You're always trying to keep the cap in line, right,
Frangie
JJ?
Show.
You got to keep that cap in line. I mean, we're all cap conscious around
Listen,
here.
What was the name of the guy for the Yankees that lost his job and never came back?
Wally Pipp.
Wally Pipp.
Hayes Carlin may be Wally Pipp. That's exactly right.
That's a possibility, but if Hayes is listening on vacation, I have your back, Hayes.
Yeah, and if Hayes is listening on vacation, shame on Hayes. Okay?
Also true.
Hopefully you're at the beach doing something more fun. All right, all kind of things to get to. I still want to bring this up again. You and I haven't talked about it, but I heard you and Hacker and I talked about it. I heard you and Hacker talk about it today. The way Gator fan locked into this draft. Did you stay up? Did you stay up till he was taken?
Walter Clayton?
Yeah.
Yes. Last night, no, I didn't pay attention.
But
yeah.
You stayed up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Were you, I was staying up. Now, it was about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I kept thinking he was going to go to the Magic or the Heat.
Yeah.
So I was hoping he was going to stay in Florida.
Yeah, but
I hear you've already bought a home in Utah.
I have. I bought a home and bought season tickets. I bought two season tickets right on the floor.
Perfect.
JJ, what would those floor seats cost? Joking aside, what would a floor seat cost?
In Utah?
I guess it's different than other places. But I mean, they're like. But I mean, I'm wondering what they. $2,500 a ticket, $1,000, $2,000 a ticket.
That sounds about right.
What do you think? I would think a floor seat in the because the NBA they put you right on the floor. You're almost in the game. I mean, in the NBA you were so close.
Oh yeah, you spill a drink, you have to. They pause the game.
No, I mean you're right there.
I see it ranges between $1,000 to $3,500.
Okay, yeah, I would think you probably going to pay. So there's 41 home games.
You got that.
Yeah, so it's $82,000 a ticket. So it's $164 for season tickets on the floor. I think you got to do it. I think I got to do it.
Especially since what I'm hearing from the NBA experts, and JJ can certainly weigh in, Walter Clayton Jr. is coming off the bench.
Yeah, I heard you complain about that today. I'm right with you.
It's frustrating.
I'm right with you. You can't.
If we're going to invest in this team, and Frank, you know this, but Walter Clayton Jr. will be the first Gator to ever play for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that until I heard you guys talking about it today.
Neil Walk played for the other Jazz.
Right, I heard you guys. They played. Well, he played for the New Orleans Jazz.
Yes.
Right. I heard you guys, which is why, by the way, they're called the Jazz. If you ever wondered why a team in Utah is called the Jazz, if you ever thought, guys, they must have great jazz musicians in Salt Lake City, it's not really how it works.
Or why the Lakers are called the Lakers.
I was just going to say, there's not a lot of lakes in L.A. either.
That's true. Exactly. But nobody stops and thinks about that. But why don't they just change the name?
They can't now. Why didn't they at the time, right?
Right.
So, I don't know. But because the other teams did. I mean,
for sure.
The Washington Senators weren't the Texas Senators. Okay, they became the Texas Rangers.
Right, and the Houston team, the Texans, started as the Oilers.
Yeah, well, the Oilers actually moved to
started in Tennessee.
Yeah, so but you're right. All right, so but were you I guess the point of the topic is, Lauren? Were you? I probably was more caught up. For me personally, I was more caught up in the Walter Clayton Gators than any Gator basketball team before it. Except maybe that 94 team with Craig Brown and Dan Cross and all.
I love the 94 team. I loved the 2014 team.
Well, you know what? That's a good call. More than the two title teams?
I didn't love them more, but I connected with them a lot.
Yeah, I did too. I think Gator fan connected with this team more than any of its predecessors. And look,
it's hard because we didn't have social media as much during the two national championship team runs, so you didn't get to know the players as well. Now it feels like we know. Like I feel like I could sit down and have a conversation with Elijah Martin, and I know him.
And I will tell you, that's a great point about social media, and we are all guilty of recency bias. And the recency bias, and we talked about this during that run, rears its head even more because Florida had been down. It was great when 06-07, when they went back-to-back. That was phenomenal. I covered it. I was at every game. I covered it on the radio. I did. Obviously went into the locker room, talked to the players. They were wonderful, by the way. It was a wonderful group of guys. Humphrey and Green, and, of course, Horford, Noah, Brewer. It was a great group of guys. It really was. Even Chris Richard and Walter Hodge off the bench were good dudes. So, but I feel like this team people really connected with. The other reason is that team, as good as it was, Florida was also winning titles in football, too.
Correct. It was all sandwiched in there together.
Yeah.
So you don't appreciate it as a Florida fan.
And as Hacker said to you today when you guys were on, and I agree with him, Joakim Noah was a rock star because of how when he's 6'11", the way he handled himself.
His dad's famous.
Dad's famous.
Yeah.
The charisma. And he was as big as Tebow on that campus, which is saying something. I mean, Tim Tebow was bigger than everything, yet on that campus they were equally big. But there was a charm about this group, It was because nobody expected him to do it. Kind of like the '94 team, because they were all such good guys. They all had a chip on their shoulder. There were no 5-star recruits.
It's a blue-collar basketball team.
I mean, and they had a blue-collar playing style.
Right.
A blue-collar basketball team that had a blue-collar playing style.
Which I never would have expected that Todd Golden could have that style. Like, knowing what we did from him coaching at San Francisco before he came to Florida.
He had a flash about him, yeah.
Yeah, and he still does, but yet he's able to coach that way, which is awesome.
Yeah, really. But it was a blue-collar. Blue-collar is a great way to say it. They worked, and I will tell you this. I haven't gotten to this yet on our radio shows about this team. We've had 1,000 of them. Next year will feel different. I'm telling you, next year, because you're now the hunted, all this charm and charisma and overachieving and underdog and chip on their shoulder and nobody gave us a chance and that's all gone now. They're now defending the title.
They are, but I will say, if you look at preseason polls and what people expect, they're still not top 3 or top 5.
But they will be when the season starts.
You think so?
I do. I think in the I'll bet you anything. In the preseason AP poll, they'll be between 3 and 5. They will be. They'll remember, a lot of that came out before they had Boogie Flam.
Right.
Before they knew Condon was coming back. We all kind of had a pretty good hunch Condon was coming back.
I certainly hoped. I wasn't sure.
But before, all of it kind of came out before all that. So we'll see. But
because now you wonder, would he have been drafted in the second round last night? Alex Condon.
Oh, he would have been. Oh, there's no question. They're without a doubt he'd have been drafted in the second round. He could have snuck into the first round. The whole Alex Condon thinking was, if you go in the first round, it's guaranteed money.
Right.
After the first round in the NBA, the money's not guaranteed. So you're taking your chances. Well, he's getting $2 million. He's getting probably $2 million plus. He wasn't getting that as the 38th pick or the 35th pick. No, he would have gone in the second round. There's no.
See, I wasn't sure because he didn't have a great postseason.
Yeah, but he would have. I mean, there were some mocks. What do you figure, JJ? If he'd have stayed in 35, 38, somewhere thereabouts, Condon?
I have no idea. I've never seen the guy play.
Oh, you've read the mocks. I mean, you've read the mocks. The mocks had him being drafted. It's just he stayed in as long as he did because the conversation was, can he sneak into the first round? If he was a sure first rounder, he never comes out of it. So I think he would have been. But anyway,
I've got by the way, ESPN's top 25 as far as men's basketball, and this is as of April 7th.
Yep.
And Florida is
18, 19.
19th,
yeah. That was before Flan, before Condon.
But I've seen one since, and they're still top 10, but not top 5. But it'll be interesting to see.
I think they'll be in the top 4 or 5, so we'll see. So anyway, but anyway.
I'm excited about Boogie Flan, but I don't have a connection to him yet.
Right. Walter Clayton Jr. getting drafted, it was just cool. Well, even if he doesn't turn out to be a great player, the connection people had to him as a player, I thought it was a cool thing. I thought it was a really cool
thing. For sure. I'll be disappointed if he's not at least pretty good.
Yeah.
Because of the way he can create his own shot.
Yeah, so I think he'll be a pretty good player. All right, we got a lot to talk about today on the program. Lauren's kind enough to stop by and be with us for 2 hours here. We're live at Big Chief Tire on this Big Chief Tire Friday. I want to remind you, we're in Mandarin, the Mandarin location. It is on San Jose Boulevard, just a hair north of I-295 if you're coming that way. Obviously, south of Bay Meadows in that area if you're coming that way. We'd love to have you come on by. They're giving away 4 sets of tires today. 1 Michelin, 1 Cooper, 1 Salem, 1 Advanta. 4 sets they're giving away at 5 o'clock. They're drawing. So you got about 45 minutes to get in here. Put your name in if you haven't already put it in. You don't have to be here to win. Also, anybody that comes by gets a hamburger, gets a hot dog, a soft drink. You get a coupon for $100 off any set of tires, and that's valid here at this Mandarin location. So come on in and say hello. We'd love to see you here at the Mandarin location of Big Chief Tire. Come on by and say hello. We'd love to see you, and everybody here would love to say hello. We've got a lot of things to talk about. We come back. You're a Rays fan. That's your baseball team. Wander Franco in the news again. JJ, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but didn't really get into it. What this means, what happens. We'll talk a little hardball, that and some other hardball thoughts coming up. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Taking calls and taking names.
I want to know who I'm talking to.
Just don't call him names.
That's enough! Why do you guys keep doing that?
Mike Dempsey.
Buenos tardes.
10 to noon weekdays.
Great glorious day.
On 1010XL.
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Kia on Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Kia on Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Kia on Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KiaOnAtlantic.com. Kia on Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Hi, it's Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass, there's one name I trust, and that's Lee & Kate's Glass. Mirrors, custom showers, tabletops, even foggy glass windows, they handle all that. And they've been doing it right since long before I ever picked up a mic. Local, family-owned, and part of this community, just like we are. They've taken great care of me, including our brand-new walk-off offices. Guys, they did a great job, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Lee & Kate's, it's the clear choice. Check them out at leeandkatesglass.com.
These days, guys who go engagement ring shopping have a really good idea of what she wants.
I was looking for something very specific. My wife shared some notes with me with what she was looking for.
Meet Jacksonville's Richard Skinner.
I did some research online. I called around the city. I shopped at other stores.
But Richard found the best deal, the best ring, the best customer service at locally owned Beard's Diamonds.
We did shop around that stone and that particular setup with different jewelers, and Beard's was able to come in significantly lower. It was a no-brainer.
But way more than the price, it was truly a beautiful ring in a custom setting with a hand-picked, large, dazzling emerald-cut diamond. Literally breathtaking.
Oh, yeah. When she saw it, she couldn't talk for about 30 minutes. Her eyes got all watery and her face got red, and she almost had a panic attack.
So don't make her settle for a chain store ring. Get something special that reflects her unique style, taste, and personality at Beard's Diamonds.
It's a one-of-a-kind piece.
Beard's Diamonds, Jacksonville's only locally owned direct diamond importer.
I'm the hero.
At the St. John Town Center.
Tired of a plain and boring backyard? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop choice to beautify your home. With pavers, stonework, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces, pergolas, and driveways. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Jeff Prosser here for Lloyd's Heating and Air. Need a leader for commercial, retail, multifamily, or hospitality projects? Or top-tier residential service? No gimmicks, no mascots, just real expertise and hard work. As your trusted statewide mechanical partner and local family-owned team, Lloyd's is the name Northeast Florida counts on. Visit Lloyd'sHeatingandAir.com. Lloyd's Heating and Air, keeping you comfortable in every season.
This is Joe C. from XL Primetime and stoked to crank up the 9 after 5 once again at the Golf Club of Southampton. Every Wednesday, a little after 5, the gang at Southampton will be hosting us with a new game, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. Now, through the summer stretch, break up the week with a little hump day fun every Wednesday. Call 287-PLAY to get on the tee sheet. There'll be food afterwards and prizes, including playing for a membership at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and hit the tee with Joe C.
You waited forever for your new fence. Then strangers show up. Subcontractors rushing the job. Sent by the company you trusted. Frustrating, right? Superior Fence and Rail promises better. Their professionally trained builders deliver quality you can trust. No subcontractors, no shortcuts. Just the superior craftsmanship your home deserves.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, superiorfenceandrail.com.
Rebound,
Rehabilitation. 11 great locations across the First Coast, and they're just a click away when it comes to feeling strong and healthy again. If you need the best path to recovery, look no further than Rebound Rehab. Log on and check out one of their great 11 locations.
This is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about being a godly example. Every day, we're setting an example in our words and actions. And many times, we can act one way in one setting and then totally different in another setting. My encouragement for you is to not send out mixed messages. God is depending on you to set the example in people's lives. You don't know, but you may be the only Bible that someone ever sees today.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Barra, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
All right, it is a Big Chief Tire Friday, and we're live at Big Chief Tires, the Mandarin Grand Opening today here on San Jose Boulevard, a beautiful new building. Guys, they did a great job with this building. It is fantastic. It is, again, a little bit north of I-295 on San Jose, or a little bit south of Bay Meadows Road. We're kind of in between those two. You know this area. If you know this area at all, you know about where we are. A big blue building. You can't miss it. Big Chief Tire. They do keep jacks rolling. Again, giving away between now and 5 o'clock. Come put your name in. They're giving away 4 sets of tires. 4. One from Michelin, one from Cooper, one from Salem, one from Advanta. Also, anybody that comes by here gets a burger, a hot dog, a soft drink, and you get a coupon for $100 off any set of tires that you come get from this Mandarin location of Big Chief Tire. So we hope you'll come on by. JJ, were you surprised? I know we talked about it yesterday toward the end, but we didn't have a chance to really expound. Were you surprised at the Wander Franco result, suspended sentence?
Honestly, I wasn't really following the case that much, so yeah. I don't know too much about it other than the mom was involved and she sort of got a lot more time than him. So no, when I saw what happened to the mom, I was sort of shocked I wasn't shocked that he didn't get any prison time. It doesn't seem like he was the main culprit here.
What'd you think, Lauren, when you saw the result of it? In fact, let me tell what happened. Wander Franco, the magnificent prospect for the Rays, I mean, really good player, was found guilty of a relationship with a 14-year-old girl when he was 21. He got a 2-year suspended sentence. Now, he's been doing time until him, but he's got a 2-year suspended sentence is what he got. Mm-hmm. With some conditions, you can't do other things. Her mom was guilty of sex trafficking her own daughter. And
she got 10 years.
Yeah, she sought money from him and got a 10-year sentence, and there's evidence that she had a lot of money from him. So what did you make of the whole thing?
Well, obviously for the 14-year-old, now this has been 3 years, so she's now 17, but it's an incredibly sad story. I hope that she gets a lot of therapy and counseling because in my estimation, this is what I think happened. Wander Franco signed an 11-year, $180+ million deal with the Rays in 2021. He comes back to the Dominican in 2022. He, I think, is 19 at the time. She's 14. I think the mom encouraged the daughter to hang out with Wander and realized that then, a year from then, she would probably try and get money from him, or maybe less than a year, whatever, that part of it. But try and then go after him by saying, well, my daughter wasn't, old enough. I do think that the mom basically put the daughter in a situation to where the daughter was doing things she probably didn't want to do, but in order for the family to make a lot more money, one day then the mom goes back to Wander and is like, well, she wasn't old enough. I tricked you, basically. And that's what I think happened.
Yeah, well.
And it's really sad that a mom would do something like that.
I mean, my word. So, and I didn't, and shame on me, by the way. JJ, you said you had to follow close. I didn't either. I didn't know any of this. I knew that he had sex with a minor and was probably never going to play in the major leagues again because of it. I did not know, I didn't know about the whole mom thing. Now, we've all read the story the last 2 days, but I didn't till reading the story the last couple, I didn't know the story.
Yeah, following along with Ray's beat reporters, that's how I've, over the last couple of years, have seen this story kind of matriculate out.
So you knew the details of it.
So I knew some of them, and I was hoping that those details were wrong. Because, again, I just can't imagine a mom being willing to use her 14-year-old daughter in order to one day profit when it comes to this type of thing.
It's a widely held opinion now, everywhere you read, that he will, despite the fact that it's a suspended sentence,
right,
that he'll never get a work visa in the U.S.
Correct.
That he'll never play here again because he's not going to get a work visa, and that is a
right.
I mean, I read all the different websites, and that is a really wildly or roundly held opinion.
Right, and I mean, I think that kind of makes sense. Right?
Yeah, it does.
It's difficult to get a work visa in the first place, so if you have a criminal history, then most likely that's not going to work out. And so, I think when the rumors first started surfacing on social media that all this was going down, you thought, oh, well, the Dominican, he'll have to go back there and deal with this whole trial thing, but as long as, he's proven innocent, he'll come back and he'll play for the Rays and all that. But that's obviously not what's going to happen at this point in time. And like you mentioned, the 2-year suspended sentence is interesting. I don't know that the United States has that as an option to where if you follow the rules, you don't actually have to go to prison and serve your sentence. But he, I think, did get fairly lucky. I had seen that the prosecution was looking for anywhere from 10, 20 to 30 years is what they wanted Wander to serve. And obviously he didn't get anything close to that.
Yeah, the Pirates had a pitcher, Felipe Vasquez, kind of the same thing. A good left-handed reliever. He had come over for the Nationals and, again, was guilty of sex with a minor.
And so it's tricky.
Venezuelan player, not a Dominican player. But.
Right. If the woman is 17 and she's telling the player or the person that she's overage, how do you know for sure, right? But 14 is a bit young.
Yeah. So anyway, and by the way, it's a tragic story. A mom selling her kid, for God's sake. But it's a tragic story if it ever happens. Okay, period. No matter whom it happens. What made this such a major story in our country? This guy was an unbelievable prospect.
He sure was.
This might have been
and
Alex
player.
Rod. Right.
Started.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
This might have been A-Rod. This guy might have been JJ. You followed it at the time. This guy might have been a 30 home run, hit 330. Best defensive shortstop in baseball guy, right? I mean, that was kind of the conversation about him.
Yeah, absolutely. I expected him by now to be a top 10 player in the majors for sure. And it totally changes the Rays and what they, how they have to build their roster and everything like that. And they never give anybody money. So it's crazy that the one time they do, they get it all back.
I know it. I know. You know what? That's a great point.
That's true. But it was y'all know baseball well. A contract for 11 years, $180 million.
That's nothing.
182.
That's not a great contract.
But JJ's point is right. That's still something the Rays don't do. And the one time they do it, this is what winds up happening. Speaking of the Rays, boy, they're good again. I don't know why. I don't know who any of their guys are. Is Yandy Diaz still there?
Yep.
He's the only one left.
Leadoff batter.
Lowe. They're
Brandon
both there.
Lau.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's it. I mean,
and Lowe is still there.
It's amazing.
Brandon Lau has 16 home runs on the season.
Is that right? Okay, so
Junior Caminero has 20 home runs.
And he's been there a while.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they've.
And Shane Boz. I heard y'all talking about him yesterday.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. So the Pirates. I don't know if you heard me say this or not, but the Pirates gave Meadows, Glasnow, and Boz. They tried to give Clemente and Stargell, but they were both dead. Okay, otherwise they would have traded them too.
Yeah,
for
Chris Archer.
Yeah, for Chris Archer.
I could have told you at the time you don't want him.
But I'll tell you, I'll say this. So when the season started, I took a few days, and I wanted to watch the Pirates opening day. So I went down, and a lot of our family is, my wife's family and our family is from the Tampa area. So we went to a bunch of the games, and so the cool thing is something about that park, playing at Legends Field, which is a minor league park, but it's cozy.
Yeah,
it's
Steinbrenner.
Steinbrenner Field. But you're right. Yes, I guess it's called Steinbrenner Field now.
It's annoying because Brian played there when it was Legends Field.
Yeah.
He played in one of the state championships.
Right. So, but you're right there, and we got there early, right there after BP. You can see him taking infield. You're right. We're right on the dugouts. And I'm watching it. You can just tell they know how to play. You can just tell that the Rays know how to play. that they just know how to play. I think Kevin
Do you think
Cash
they're like the Coastal Carolina of Major League Baseball?
kind of.
Like the dirt daubers, no stars necessarily.
They are that. They are that. But man, yes.
But Coastal Carolina has a title, the Rays don't.
But they know how. They really know how to play, and you could feel it when you're around them that they know how to develop players. You can.
They have to because they don't pay anybody.
Right, but they are really good, and so I'm not surprised that they're right now. Here's my guess.
Yeah. When
you get to the postseason, they'll fade again because somebody will have more good players. But I mean, Kevin Cash gets every drop out of them. The other thing I thought about this, JJ, yesterday in the program, Hacker asked, "Is Cash going to be the manager of the year?" And your point was, and I agree with it. He's certainly high on the ballot now. He might be the best manager in baseball. I don't know his contract situation, but are you surprised, kind of like with Joe Madden and others, that a big money team hadn't come after him yet? That you don't look up JJ and he's the manager of the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox? Wouldn't you think that's coming at some point?
Yeah, but the Dodgers and Yankees has been sort of locked up for a while now.
You're right.
But yeah, I could see him maybe like if the Mets fail to do anything this year with a huge payroll or a team like that who disappoints.
Stay away from my manager.
But that's the best example. I'm glad you said it. The Mets are a team that you could look at. He buys everything else. You know, Stephen Cohen.
Yeah.
You could look up, and Kevin Cash is. And look,
I'm surprised, by the way, more than Cash. Because there's less pressure with the Rays than there are with some of those other teams.
Right.
He can have this job for as long as he wants it.
Yeah.
There is something to that. But I'm more surprised that Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach for the Rays, hasn't gotten scooped up because the Rays pitching
You're right.
year in and year out with guys you've never heard of, like Drew Rasmussen, who's leading the way.
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I would think a guy like Cash, as good as he is, is never getting his moment in the sun like Joe Madden. Joe Madden was a good manager for the as much as I don't like. I think he's too corny for me. I'd like to punch him in the face.
Surprised to hear you say that.
I can't stand him, but he was a good manager, and he was never going to get his due. And then he went to the Cubs, who were one of the most known teams in sports, and won a title. And he's in history now. You know, he's got his place in history. So I would imagine at some point Kevin Cash, JJ called it might be the Mets. But I would imagine at some point Kevin Cash is managing a big market team.
I mean, I understand the reason behind it because you want to eventually work for someone that will spend more money. But it feels like he has a lot of power there and say so. And I don't know that he would have that necessarily every other team.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if he goes to the Mets, the Rays will promote Bob Smith from the Durham Bulls, and he'll be great too. I mean, right? I mean, they'll go get their Double-A guy, and he'll be the best manager in baseball too. I mean, so
yeah. By the way, are you on board with moving the Rays to Jacksonville like everybody was? In
I
the
would
story
love
broke?
it. It's not going to happen, but I would love for it to happen. I mean, who wouldn't love it?
The Rays fans in Tampa.
Yeah, right. Even if Patrick Zalewski buys it, what I do think, number one, that's a fun story. I'd love. Who wouldn't love another major league team here? I don't think we have enough Fortune 500 companies. We talked about that on the air that day. Hazen, JJ, and I did. But I do think there's a chance we wind up with a AAA team. I mean, Ken Babby is on that. If Patrick winds up buying the team, I would imagine that, and Ken Babby's presence there, at the worst, we get their AAA team. We get a couple spring training games. I don't think there's enough corporate money here to get a team that plays 81 home games. So I'd be surprised by that. I asked John Delaney this one time years ago about NBA baseball when he was the mayor on the air when I was on 9:30 at the time. He said, Frank, until there's more Fortune 500 companies, at the time there was Winn-Dixie, CSX. It might have been 2. Now there's JJ. We looked it up. There's 3 or 4. There's Fidelity.
I looked up.
Like Fidelity has like
4.
2 of them.
That's right. Fidelity. That's correct. Fidelity. FAS has 2 of them, and there's 4 total.
Yeah. What I read was Tampa has 4 only as well.
Is that all?
I was like,
Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, the whole area only has 4.
And I only looked up Tampa. So
yeah,
maybe.
I'd be a little surprised. I might be wrong, but now their population. I can tell you this
for sure.
Just the television market alone, they're 11th or so in the television market. We're 46th. So I think all of that, but so we'll see. But
So you think do you think Jacksonville could support 2 AAA teams?
No. I don't think they'd have 2 AAA teams.
Okay.
I think the Marlins would go somewhere else.
Gotcha.
I think if Ken Babby is one of the owners of the Rays, when the contract is up with the Marlins, I would imagine maybe the Marlins go to Durham and maybe the Rays their team comes here. But I do think this. I've always said this about the Rays. They're obviously very good at it. They're obviously a very good franchise. I would not be surprised if they ever build a stadium down there, is it Harborview, whatever they call that area where the arena is, near Ybor, not in Ybor,
but near Amalie Arena.
Very that whole area. I think it's called Harborview or something like that.
That sounds right.
But if they build Tampa will support it. They support the Bucks and they support the Lightning.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, having all my family in Tampa and in Hillsborough County, they're not driving across the bridge to Pinellas. They're just not. Even if it wasn't such an awful stadium, I told you this. Remember, there's all this talk about building a new one in St. Pete. That would have been a disaster. And finally, Sternberg figured that out. Correct. It would have been a disastrous decision because the Hillsborough people are not driving to Pinellas to watch that team. They just weren't going to do it.
But it seems like the new ownership group who are behind Dreamfinders Homes are good at building things.
Yeah, assuming they get it.
And knowing where to build them.
Yeah.
So it seems like, yes, the $1.3 billion stadium that they were going to build in St. Pete was scratched, and it makes sense as to why.
It would have never worked.
Right. So it seems like the new group is going to identify a better location, and then we'll put in the resources to build it.
I would think if Patrick Zalewski and the Dreamfinders people get it, and I think that'd be awesome for him because he's an awesome guy and very respected. I think if they wind up getting it, I think they would be smart enough to do that. If somebody else gets it. And now the team's going to be sold. You know, whether Patrick's group gets it or someone, it's now obvious the team's up for sale. If all the stories you see are true that there's a letter of intent, well, then that'd be the group. But yes, I would think the next group is going to move them to Tampa and build a beautiful stadium right there on the water, and I think it'd be wildly successful.
Are you so jealous as a Pirates fan that...
I said it on air.
Okay.
I said, and I don't know Patrick, but so many of my friends are really close. Hecken knows him really well, but he's supposed to be a wonderful guy, by the way.
I've met him before. He's great.
Everybody has very, very high opinion of Patrick. And so, yes, I want the sale to fall through.
Right.
And then let's go
Purchase
buy the
Pirates.
I said it on air. Patrick, I'll help you. Okay? Listen, the play-by-play guy's a big buddy of mine. That's got to matter, doesn't it?
Of course.
He's got to be very connected, right?
Right.
Everybody knows how connected the play-by-play guys are.
Always connected.
And
very wealthy. Very well off.
There's no question. That's so true. We're such a wealthy lot, us. But I really, yes, let it fall through. And Patrick, let's go sit down. Mm-hmm. I'll take you around. I promise you I can take you every nook and cranny of that ballpark.
For sure.
Yeah, it probably won't be where the rich people go, but I can tell you, I can take you to all the spots everybody else goes. So yes, I want it to fall through.
The moment I saw the story, I
said on air.
Frank has to be so upset. I must have missed that part of the show.
Let's have someone with more money go to buy the Rays, and then Patrick say, listen, I'm dying to get a team. Let's go to Pittsburgh. I'll lead the charge.
The problem is your owner's never selling.
Yeah, well, there is that. There is that.
Sorry to break it to you.
Don't they say everything's got a price, though? Isn't that the word? Everything's got a price, right? Yeah, maybe not.
Sometimes things are priceless.
Just wishful thinking?
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Let's take a break. We're going to talk some NFL when we come back. Stay with us. We're live at Big Chief Tire. We've got another half an hour now. They're giving away 4 sets of tires here. 1 set of Michelin, 1 set of Cooper, 1 Salem, 1 Advanta. Come on by and say hello. Get a hamburger, get a hot dog, soft drink. You get a $100 coupon just for coming in the door that goes to a set of tires if you buy them here at this Mandarin location. We are on San Jose Boulevard, a little bit north of I-295. Come say hello. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet is the largest inventory on the ground, and it's ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV with payments starting in the mid-200s. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And remember, Nimnick will always give you the top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. That's right, $3,000. So head to Nimnick today. You can shop online 24/7 at NimnickChevy.com or view the dealership right there at Park Street and Cassett Avenue. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
1. Frangie and Hicken on Mondays. 2. Denny Thompson and Hacker on Wednesdays.
Who's counting?
1010XL now has 2 original Gator podcasts each week.
1 for you, 1 for me.
Search 1010XL Florida Gators wherever you find podcasts or visit 1010XL.com.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Cannonball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Hello. The Checkmate Coatings phone line has you covered from the floor up. From tough sports topics to strong surfaces, Checkmate Coatings is your floor's missing piece and your connection to the sports world on 1010XL.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Pick it here with a game winner. It's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all. And this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Denny Thompson here. If you haven't heard, Tyson Sound and Security has a house built right inside their showroom, showcasing complete home automation and security systems. You have to see it to believe it. This setup can recognize intruders who approach your door and alerts them to leave if there's a break-in. Keep your family safe with the most state-of-the-art technology. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming Island.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
All right, it is a Big Chief Tire Friday, and we're just happened to be at Big Chief Tire, the brand new Mandarin location, and they have opened it. It is beautiful here, boy, and they've had a great crowd come in here today. People put their name in the box to try and win some tires. Giving away 4 sets of tires at 5 o'clock today. You don't have to be here to win, but my guess is if you come now, you probably will be because they're giving it away in about 20 minutes. A set of Michelin, a set of Cooper tires, Salem, and Advanta tires. Also, you get a coupon for $100 off any set of tires. As long as you buy them here at the Mandarin location. It's the 6th location, by the way. They've got 2 on the west side. They're on the north side. They're at Orange Park. We did a show from the Orange Park location not too long ago.
Right on Blanding.
That's right. And then south side here on Phillips Highway. So they're all over town now. Big Chief Tire, the best place to get tires, brakes, automotive service, oil changes, and just nice folks. The Parman family does really does a marvelous job. So come on by and say hello. And again, you still got about 20 minutes to get here, about 15 minutes to get here. Before they draw those tires. So it's a great prize. Yeah, a full set of tires now. It's a great prize, so come on by.
Absolutely. Big Chief just serviced my vehicle a couple weeks ago. Got new brake pads, new rotors. Not that I exactly know what rotors are, but they took care of all that in an oil change.
Yeah, you get a good rotor, and that thing will last forever.
I know what a motor is.
Okay, motor.
I know what rotors.
Well, now you've got good motor and rotor. You got all that.
That's
so,
right.
So there's that. I'd walk you through that, but I don't. It's a sports show.
I mean, there's a bay full
of cars behind it.
You can show me.
So they can do that. Let's talk NFL for a little bit. Well, you and I haven't talked Jaguars in a long time. You were out at mini camp. What jumped off the page for you?
I would say watching OTAs and mandatory mini camp, it was fun to see the progression that Trevor Lawrence has made and the connection that he has. Obviously, De'Ami Brown is new, Travis Hunter's new, and Brian Thomas Jr., they only got to play together for about half a season, a little over half a season last year. So obviously my eye is drawn to the quarterback and the playmakers. I have said this multiple times, Frank. I think the running back room is one of the most fascinating rooms. I have no idea at the end of the season who will have the most carries and the most yards between Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, and Bashal Tutin. Like Kent Allen, I think, will also be a contributor. But those three, I normally, by this point in time, even if it's the offseason and they haven't put pads on and we haven't gotten a training camp, I still at least have an idea. I really don't know. I know who the wide receiver 1 is. That's Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to look.
But you know who 2 and 3 are.
But I know who 2 and 3 are.
You just don't know who's 2
exactly.
and 3. Right.
But I don't know who RB1, RB2, RB3 is. I think that's going to be interesting. But Tank Bigsby looks really good to me. But this time of year, he always looks really good.
Yeah, and you're right, by the way. We all talked about this. We said this after the draft. They had five drafted running backs on their team. Not just 5 running backs, 5 drafted running backs on their team. You said, well, who won't be here? Well, they've since cut Keelan Robinson, so they're down to 4.
And that was, I feel like, a decent guess based off of where he was drafted, the fact that he was special teams and he really didn't play a lot.
And the previous regime drafted him. And I'm convinced they drafted him because it was the first year of the new kickoff return rules, and they weren't sure he would be a second return guy, and they weren't sure how to do that. But you're right. All 4 are drafted players, and all 4 pretty good players. They went and got LaQuinn Allen, and I believe that to be – he was the best – I think he was the best pass-catching running back in college football last year.
He was.
And so they went and got him because he's a good third-down back, I think, pass-catching running back.
And good in pass pro.
Yeah, that's right. And so for that reason, you can't imagine that they don't want him on the team. Bashal Tutin, I think, is the one guy that could be a star. I think he's got to stay. I've said that on our show on a regular basis. And, by the way, they've got 2 other guys they drafted that are pretty good players. So – there's some common sense to the thinking that after this year, with the contract situation, that Travis Etienne won't be on the team. Now that's not a given, that's not a laydown, but I understand the thinking.
Some thought he wouldn't be on the team this year.
Yeah, you're right, but Travis Etienne's a good player. Never make the mistake to think he's a good player. By the way, he's great at ball security. I know he fumbled against Miami, and everyone talked about that fumble because it changed so many things. But he's great at ball security.
Wasn't that the only fumble last year?
It was.
Yeah.
He's great at pass protection. He's a very good pass receiver. He's got a burst. The biggest thing the football people will tell you that he hasn't figured out is changing gears. He hits the line so hard that he takes a lot of big hits. The great running backs never take big hits because they know how to slow down and change gears and change speeds a little bit.
And vision. Great running backs have really good vision, and that's the one part of his game that last season I felt like
I agree.
There weren't a lot of holes, trust me, because of that offensive line, but I felt like he didn't hit the small holes that were there.
Well, the vision's all part of getting hit hard too. The good vision also allows you to avoid hits. Tank Bigsby's a good player. We have, because they drafted Tootin and Allen, because there's all the conversation
about ETN.
People lose sight of the fact that he's a good player. I mean, Tank Bigsby's a good player. You got to take care of the ball, and we all know he's fumbled too much.
So does Bashal Tootin.
Bashal Tootin is a college player, fumbled too much. Yeah. So, but we all know Tank Bigsby fumbled too much. But he's make no mistake about that. I think he was their best back last year, and he's a good player.
I mean, he led the team in carries and yards, so he was the best back.
But he's a good player. So it'll be.
I think Bigsy's really good. Yeah, I think I don't even know if 1 month in we'll know the answer to my question as far as which back leads the team in yards and carries at the end of the season.
But it's critical because as you and Hacker, and again, you guys did a good job today. I was listening to y'all talk about it. Liam Cohen's offense, you got to run the football. You got to.
And what takes the most pressure off of your quarterback?
Well, right. And not
running the football.
Correct. And say what you want about Doug Peterson and play calling and press Taylor and this and that and the other. What went wrong last year is they never figured out how to run the football. Whether that's a play calling thing, for whatever reason, they never ran the football. Trevor Lawrence said it. Trevor Lawrence said it after the season. He said, yeah, we were predictable. He said, we couldn't run the ball. And if you can't run the football, well, you're down to passing the football. There's not a lot of options. So
yeah, that's what went wrong offensively. Yeah, I don't think we have enough time left in the show to get into what went wrong defensively.
I agree with your assessment of the running back room. And I've said this all along on this show often, Lauren, and Pete Prisco's going to join me in a bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about this. But I've said all along that the biggest question I've had about this football team is, will the lines of scrimmage be better? The entire offensive line and the two defensive tackle positions. Someone said, well, is that bigger than the development of Trevor? Well, it leads to the development of Trevor. If you can't protect, then it's going to be hard for Trevor to be better. It just is. If you can run the ball and protect, I promise you Trevor Lawrence is going to be good. He certainly will be improved. So that offensive line, and make no mistake about this, they brought in 10 offensive linemen. Okay, that's not correct.
6.
They brought in 6 offensive linemen. They brought in 10 free agents, 4 of whom were offensive linemen, and then drafted 2.
Right.
So they brought in 10 new players in the free agent period, 40% of which were offensive linemen, and then drafted 2 guys. And the 2 guys they drafted, maybe Monheim is a developmental player that they hope probably wins the backup job. Wyatt Milam might start. So the point is,
they're 3 interior guys would all be different if Wyatt Milam wins the starting job over Ezra Cleveland.
That's correct. If you assume that Hainsey and McCarry are going to start the other 2 spots, I agree with you.
I think by their contracts, and by what we've seen from Luke Fortner before as the center,
it'd be a surprise. I agree with you.
Yeah, and McCarry got paid a lot.
Yeah, I agree. So I think they're going to start. But the point is, they really addressed offense. And listen, the EVP is a former offensive lineman who I promise you sat to my very right for 12 years or 11 years or however many it was, and talked about how frustrated he was with the offensive line. I mean, this isn't a secret. Our broadcasts go on the air, okay? We have like microphones and speakers, and people hear them. And I can't tell you how many times Tony Baselli, sitting right to my right, would be frustrated with the play of the offensive line. He didn't want to call out players. He was a respectful broadcaster. But you could tell the gist is that it just bothered him that the line wasn't playing the way he, is one of the great offensive linemen of all time, would have liked to have seen him play. So I'm not surprised.
And anybody can tell you that.
Right. That to me is the biggest question. It's. Did
they find the right players in free agency and in the
right
draft?
Players, right plan, right. Will the line be better? Whether it's play calling, players,
the offensive line coach,
development, coaching, right. That, and again, I've had more people say, you really think that's more important than Trevor's development? I think it's the key to Trevor's development because you run the ball and protect. So
I think that's an important thing. I also think the scheme, the offensive scheme, certainly play calling.
Well, that's all connected too.
Yeah, I think that's also because that's been entirely revamped with Liam Cohen, with Grant Udinski. I think that's another huge part of it. But yeah, if they missed on the players on the offensive line that they brought in, if they're not as good as they think that they are, then I don't know that we can have the real, honest conversation about Trevor Lawrence until they find better offensive linemen.
No, you're exactly right. So we'll see what winds up happening. All right, we got a little more to talk about. Pete Prisco's going to join me in just a minute. He always does on these Fridays. We'll talk a little bit about the Jags, also about the NFL hot seat list. Who is, who isn't? Pete, all that coming up in just a little bit. So we're glad you're with us. Pete Prisco joins us in the second hour of the show. By the way, you got 7 minutes to get in here to Big Chief Tire on Mandarin and register to win a set of Michelin tires, a set of Cooper tires, a set of Salem tires, and advance to 4 different sets of tires. That's pretty cool stuff now. 4 different sets of tires are being given away here, and you get a coupon for $100 for off a set of tires just by coming in. Big Chief Tire, Big Blue Building, can't miss it, on San Jose Boulevard in Mandarin, north of I-295, south of Bay Meadows. We hope you'll come on by. Pete Prisco's next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
You never know what's going to happen.
If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not this game.
And that's the beauty of sports.
Not tonight.
1010XL.
Screw them.
Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Hey, John, have you seen the exciting 2025 lineup at Randy Marion Cadillac?
They've got the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Vistique. It's a Cadillac lover's dream.
And the best part, over 100 new Cadillacs are in stock and ready for you to drive home today.
Plus, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and experience luxury and performance like never before.
Visit us today at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville.
Don't miss out on these incredible vehicles. Your new Cadillac awaits.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Showtime is now accepting cards for PSA grading submissions on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Stop in on one of those 3 days to meet with Seth and Maria, 1 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for PSA grading at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Sun's out. Deals on at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Summer's here, and so are the flavor-packed deals, like a Yingling beer-battered fish sandwich, chicken salad lettuce wraps, or the combo basket, all for under $14. Craving more? Add 3 bone-in wings to any handheld or entree for just $3.49. Sip on a refreshing peach tea cocktail, or grab an ice-cold Michelob Ultra. Perfect for patio season. Summer's never tasted this good. Find yours at HurricaneWings.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
I'm Max Fink on your Gator station. 1010XL is your pipeline to Gator Nation. Listen to the Gator Report all year round.
Freshened up by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators. 1010XL.
Go Gators! Hey, Hicken here from my friends at Zero Res. They want to help you clean your home or business. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at $129 and 20% off your air duct cleaning. Call them 904-287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Pretty nice weather we're having, huh?
You think this is nice?
I mean, it's sunny, warm. We do live in Florida.
It's not all upside, Jason. Warm weather comes, so all the cool people hit the beach. My old air conditioner craps out, so it's 1,000 degrees inside, and I'm stuck on a video call in my underpants trying not to sweat through my...
Wait. Put these sunglasses on.
I'm not going to put on your...
Whoa. The air conditioning experts at Bueller Air and Plumbing can keep your home office cool and comfortable all summer long. You look good in your meeting, impress the big guy with your cool confidence, maybe finally make assistant deputy regional manager.
Wow, air conditioning can do that?
Life moves pretty fast. If you spend all summer worried the weather is going to be too nice, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Man, I can't wait for Saturday. I'm going to the Jacksonville Axemen Rugby League game. They're playing the Southwest Florida Copperheads, and it's going to be good.
Rugby league is crazy. No pads or helmets. Now that's a real contact sport. Count me in.
Join the ratified credit union Jacksonville Axemen as they take on the Copperheads at the UNF Turf Field tomorrow night at 6:30. Tickets start at $10 and kids under 12 are free at jacksax.com.
Registration is now open for the Circle K Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. With over $450,000 in cash and prizes, fun starts on July 13th with the inaugural Kickoff Beach Tournament that has a $50,000 cash first place prize. There's also a junior offshore tournament and one for the lady anglers. Best of all, the winner of the General Offshore Tournament takes home a Contender 28T with twin Yamaha 200s. Register today at kingfishtournament.com. I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. The Jacksonville Axemen return home to UNF this Saturday for their second conference home game of the season. The Axemen defeated the Copperheads in Game 1 of the season and are looking to chop up the competition for good by winning at home as well. Take note that due to a light issue on the field, kickoff has been moved up to 6:30 p.m. Game Field is the turf field adjacent to Hodges Stadium. Parking is in Lot 18. Don't miss out on the action. Get your tickets now. General admission starts at just $10. Kids 12 and under get in for free. We'll have full concessions, beer sales, merchandise, and more. The Jumbo Shrimp will take on the Nashville Sounds for Game 4 of their series tonight at 7:05 in VyStar Ballpark. It's 87 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, it is time to talk a little NFL with Pete Prisco. Hey, by the way, Jaguar fans, get excited. Former FSU quarterback Jarian Jones is going to be signing autographs at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Tuesday, July 15th from 5:30 to 7:30. You can find out all about it by calling him at 904-527-8980. Now, that is July 15th, that Tuesday afternoon, right before camp. Jarian Jones signing your autographs 5:30 to 7:30 at Showtime. Pete Prisco joins me now from CBS Sports. Pete, how you doing, buddy?
Good. What's going on?
Man, oh man, it's we're getting closer. Are you? When's Aruba? You gone? Coming back? What are we doing?
Tomorrow. We're leaving tonight. Actually, we're going down to Miami tonight, staying down there.
All right. So this is the eve of
when
the
are you
big
going
trip?
polar bear hunting?
Yeah, we're not this year. We're taking. I've got so much Jag travel. I'm staycationing this year, so there's no cold weather for us this year, Pete, as there normally is. All right, all kind of stuff I want to get. I'm going to start with on CBS, on you guys' website, which you do a terrific job. I think Tyler Sullivan wrote this, talked about coaches on the hot seat. I want to go through some of this with you a little. We'll get to some Jags in a minute. But his order, Brian Daboll 1, Mike McDaniel 2, Zach Taylor 3, Shane Steichen 4, Sean McDermott was on this list. That's his 5, in his opinion, 5 on the hot seat. Now, look, we're all this time of year where we're all writing hot seats and stories and trends. Peter, all 5 of those guys, Daboll is. Are those other 4 guys on the hot seat in your mind?
McDaniel certainly is. There's no doubt about that. He is.
All right. Okay.
Sean McDermott's not on the hot seat. That's absurd. No. I mean, barring a 2-15, he's not on the hot seat. It's just not. So I don't know why he put him on there. I would argue with him. And Tyler's a good young kid. He really works at it. But I would not put him on there. Zach Taylor, that's an interesting one because at some point you change the defensive coordinator now, and at some point that defense has to be better. You're the head coach. You're ultimately responsible for it. So if they have another year where Burrow and that gang puts up a ton of offense and they don't make the playoffs, then Zach Taylor might be in trouble. But even he's a little bit of a stretch. Daboll and McDaniel, I think, are definite. I think if either one of them has a bad season, I think they're gone.
So let's talk about the whole coaching thing. And I'm going to kind of scatter here. But it's an interesting coaching world. Pete Carroll is back coaching, Pete. There's young coaches now. What are the coaching as you see this, what are the coaching storylines? Young guys like Brian Callahan, do they have a long time or not very long? A guy like Mike Tomlin, who wins every year but hadn't won a playoff game since 2016, they're getting a little bit restless. Are there any developing coaching storylines that you can see other than the couple guys here that are on the hot seat? How will Pete Carroll do? Tell me, what's your thought on all that?
Well, I think Pete Carroll has the energy to do it. It's just, but again, you're with a new general manager, a guy who's just doing it for the first time. You have quarterback Geno Smith, who you think you like, but again, you don't know. They have some questions at key positions, particularly corner. And so, I think the energy's still there for Pete Carroll, and I think that's not going to be a problem. But again, is the roster good enough? And you have a first-time general manager. As for Callahan, remember, he wasn't hired by that GM. And so when you're not hired by that GM, the easy thing to do is, if things go wrong, blame the coach and get a new coach, a guy you preferably would have hired in the first place. So I think Callahan is another guy that could be in trouble.
How do you think the young coaches, the new coaches will do? Liam, obviously, we've talked about a great deal. I know how you feel about him. Ben Johnson, Kellen Moore, Aaron Glenn, this new kind of collection. Who's good, who's not, who's up against it, who are you confident will be very good? Go through that group a little bit.
All right, look, Ben Johnson, we know he can call plays, and he's going to be one of those guys that designs the offense and does it well. But how's he handle the room, and how's he handled now that he's the head coach? I mean, it's not a different question for a lot of those guys. Aaron Glenn, I think, has a little bit of a disadvantage because of the quarterback situation, but he has also an advantage that he was a player there, and he's been a coach for a long time. So I think that'll help him. I think the guy that might be better than people give him credit for is Schottenheimer. And Brian Schottenheimer's been around football a long time, around his dad, who was a hell of a coach. And Brian Schottenheimer, people looked at it when the Cowboys hired him. They go, what are they doing? Well, so far, everything you hear out of there has been positive about Brian Schottenheimer. And so I think he's the one first, the new coach that could surprise people, because I think that roster is talented, and Dak Prescott can still throw the football around.
Another question, and Mike Florio is the guy pushing this, but he suggests there is evidence of collusion, particularly with quarterback salaries. Without getting into all the details of that, do you agree with him?
Well, collusion and sharing information, which, sometimes you're not supposed to do, it might be two different things and hard to prove collusion. Do I think owners have talked and GMs have talked to each other about contracts in the past? Absolutely. And so I think that if you consider that to be collusion, then that's colluding. But I'm not so sure it's so black and white. I think it's hard to prove that they colluded, even though they've talked to each other. When they said, "Hey, you did a good job getting that contract done. You helped us a little bit." That doesn't necessarily mean they did it for them or they did it for the rest of the league. They did it, and then it worked out that way, and then you said, hey, maybe that'll help us with our deal. That's not colluding. And so I think you got to look at it from that standpoint. Florio's taken this and really run with it, and, he's a labor guy and a lawyer, so he loves it. To be honest with you, I don't think that the public cares. I really don't. Now, if the players push back and say, hey, we proved this collusion case and therefore we're all going to be free agents and everybody's going to go everywhere, then I think the public will care. As it is right now, even if they awarded damages to guys, it's like the fining system. When a player gets fined, people go, oh, interesting, he got fined. They really don't care. They don't. So I don't think it's as big a story as Mike's making it out to be. If they ever proved, for example, Lamar Jackson, did every owner in the league collude against him to make sure he didn't get a big contract from somebody else? I highly doubt it. But if it's proven, then it's going to be a nice case for Lamar Jackson and probably a bunch of other players.
Pete, some other storylines developing. I can tell you when all the Liam Cohen stuff was happening in Tampa, he had a really good year as their play caller. We all know the story now. Jason Light didn't want him to leave, and he winds up here, and we're thrilled that he's here. But there were people in the fan base that actually hoped they would move on from Todd Bowles and keep Liam. They didn't do that. Well, now they extend Bowles and they extend Jason Licht. What do you make of that? Is Bowles there for a long? Bowles' son, by the way, plays college football, and I thought he may get out of it just to go watch. What's going to happen in Tampa?
The rumblings you hear is that even though Todd Bowles got the contract extension, this might be his last year, in large part because he might choose it to be his last year.
But I've heard that, too. I've heard he's definitely
Yeah, and that was the reason they wanted to keep Liam there, is because they felt that Todd would coach this year and then walk off into the sunset, and Liam would take over as the head coach. That was, I think, in talking to people over there, that's what the plan was. And so it didn't work out that way. But I still think there's some feeling that Todd Bowles might walk away from it. Again, you get the contract extension. If you get close and he says, hey, maybe I'm not going to walk away from it, we're close to the Super Bowl, I'm going to come back, then he has that option. But if not, then I think I've heard the same thing, that he is willing to walk away. You mentioned his son. He wants to, he lives in North Carolina in the offseason. He goes there all in the offseason, spends his time there. So it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't walk away after the season. Jason Licht, by the way, is one of the most underrated general managers in the league. He really is. If you go back and look at his drafting over the last 4 or 5 years, and he had to navigate a couple bad drafts, but once he did, his roster is just loaded. He has more draft picks on his roster and around the league that he drafted than anybody else out there. So I think he's done a really nice job and deserves that contract extension.
Will Justin Tucker ever kick in the National Football League again, Pete?
No. And not because of everything else. I mean, that because we saw Deshaun Watson came back, but he was a much younger player. And here's the other part of it.
And a quarterback, and he was a quarterback, right?
And here's the other part of it. Justin Tucker started going bad last year.
Yeah.
And we know the history of the kicker in the NFL. When it goes, it usually doesn't come back. Or it goes for a couple years, and then it comes back. And we've seen guys come back in and make some noise at other teams. But usually it's not a 37-year-old that does that. So I would say his days kicking in the NFL are over.
Yeah, I get that same impression. All right, before we send you off the roof, a couple of Jaguar thoughts before we get out of here. It's a stacked roster. Somebody the other day was talking about, and I forget which website it was, if every team made one more move, what would it be? And in fairness, he was trying to recommend a move for all 32 teams. The one he recommended for Jacksonville was signing Jadeveon Clowney. Now, your phrase is a good one, name over game sometimes. Make sure just because you know his name, that doesn't mean he's still good. I hear you. But Clowney was pretty good 2 years ago, was okay last year. Would you like that move here?
If they didn't sign Ogba. Okay. I think that takes them out of that, in large part because you got the younger players. You have Ogba. You can rotate him in. I don't think you need another rotation guy. And so I would probably not sign him, no. I think there were other guys they looked at briefly, but I think signing Ogba kind of takes, at least in my mind, it would take him out of that equation because he's a veteran edge player, and you have some younger guys. And at some point, you got to develop younger players and give them a look, and I think that's ideally what they'll do.
Final thing. It's vacation time for everybody. The coaches are all gone. You're gone. I'm gone. We're all gone, and we're going to come back, and it's going to be training camp. Seeing everything you've seen with the Jaguars, you were here for the mini camp. You know the team as well as anybody does, whether you're – I know you cover the whole league, but I know how well you know this team. Seeing everything you've seen, not what their record is. We got plenty of time for that. Do you like where they are? What is your biggest concern about where the Jaguars are? What do they still have to get done? And what do you like most about what this new regime has done?
Okay, let me start, by the way, to tell you, Frank, when I was there, my place made me pick the record, go game by game. So I did pick the record already.
Right. No, you and I did this on the air, but I'm going beyond that at this point.
Okay, beyond that, I think you look at them and the way they coach that team, it's so different to me. They're not just the head coach, everybody. It just has a good feel to it. And you can watch – and everybody I talk to, and I'm sure it's the same for you, is raved about Campanelli and what he's done for the defense and his install and the way he goes about it. And he's kind of been a little under the radar as this thing has gone on. I think he's a guy, keep an eye on him, and you talk to the players, and they rave about him. So I think the feel of the team from a coaching standpoint, much different. And you can watch practice and see that. I think players, and talking to Josh Hines-Allen even about that, he loved that. And I think that players have responded to that. So that's one of the biggest differences. I think number two is, the offense is going to cater to Trevor Lawrence, obviously going to run the ball, but cater to him getting the ball out of his hands. And his motion and his mechanics are so different than what they were. Now, when he goes to an actual game and he's getting hit and he's sped up, does it stay that way, or do you go back to your old golf swing? That's the question. But watching him and talking to him, you can tell his difference in his mechanics and the way he throws the football. He was a long strider. That stride is cut down. I think his motion has been quickened and been cut down. And if that translates during the season, I think he's going to have a heck of a season throwing those guys. So I think Liam Cohen's done a heck of a job with the offense, installing it and fixing his poor mechanics. And if that carries over, they're going to score a lot of points.
Pete Prisco checking in, talking Jaguars and NFL and a whole lot more. Pete, have a great time in Aruba, brother. When you come back, we'll do this again. We'll be closer and closer to camp. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Right around the corner. You got it. Take care, Frank.
All right. Pete Prisco checking in, and he does such a good job. Nobody knows the NFL better. I mean that very, very sincerely. Do want to remind you, Pete's Report is always brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Don't forget, you can see former FSU cornerback Jarian Jones. He's got an autograph signing at Showtime right there on Phillips Highway, not far from where we are now, at the end of Shad Road. That is on July 15th. From 5:30 to 7:30. Advanced autograph tickets are available right now. You can find out more by going to ShowtimeSportsCardsOfJax.com or call them in at 904-527-8980. Now, before we go to break, hey, JJ's got headlines on the other side. We have some winners. We've got 4 winners, right?
That we do.
We have 4
this is
winners.
exciting stuff.
So here we go. 4 winners of tires. And I'm going to tell you not only who won, but what tires they're getting. We're going to start with Ron Price. Congratulations, Ron. Thanks for coming by. You're getting the Salem tires. So congratulations to you. Steve Simpson. Steve, thank you for coming by. If you're still listening, you get the Advanta tires. This is a set of tires. So congratulations to both of them. Stephanie Royal, appreciate Stephanie coming by. She won a set of Cooper tires. And Tracy Pless came by. She gets Michelin tires. So Tracy Pless, Stephanie Royal, Steve Simpson, all are winners, as is Ron Price. Those are the 4 winners who came by Big Chief Tire today and got a brand new set of tires at this beautiful, beautiful location here in Mandarin.
These are important, so I'll take them.
Yes, you do. You keep those.
Big Chief will contact all
Yes, all the winners are going to get contacted. You are exactly right. Let's take a break. JJ's going to do headlines for us after this.
Another sizzling summer on the First Coast.
Summer. And 1010XL.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Growing up in Jacksonville, I always associated Beards with an elevated experience, something that isn't your big box store.
Dr. Aryan Afshari talking about his experience at Beards Diamonds.
Every single time I've walked into Beards, I have felt confident. I have felt like I've been guided down the right path. I feel like no one is there to take my money and that they all have my best interest in mind.
When Dr. Afshari went into Beards Diamonds for his engagement ring, he was blown away by the selection.
We walked into Beards, they showed us a massive array of diamonds, of bands.
But they helped him narrow it down and even offered to customize a designer setting for a one-of-a-kind ring.
I showed them some inspirations, and they really kind of knocked it out of the park. I think Megan still has the best ring out of all her friends.
Beards Diamonds. Unbeatable selection, direct importer prices, designer rings, no commission salespeople, and local owners.
I wanted something meaningful, and that's what I found at Beards.
Get the value and luxury experience you deserve. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Where does Northeast Florida buy cars? Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and why Arlington? Selection. Arlington has over 800 new and used vehicles all in one location with everyday low prices. Plus, right now, save big with zero down and just $288 per month for a pre-owned 2023 Toyota Corolla. Or how about no payments till January 2026 and 60-day exchange. Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter-mile east of 295, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Mia here, and I love my custom closet from Closets by Design. With summer in full swing, having my warm weather wardrobe front and center is a game changer. No more digging for the right outfit on a hot day. If your home needs a summer refresh, whether that be a closet, a garage, or a pantry, schedule a free in-home consultation with Closets by Design. And the offer has been extended, folks. Receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. And free installation on any order of $750 or more. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
Ready to ride the waves? Best Bet St. Augustine is turning up the heat with our Summer Splash promotion. We're giving away over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a brand new 2025 Yamaha Wave Runner. From now through August 8th, every hour you play poker or table games earns you an entry to win. It all leads up to the grand prize drawing on August 9th. The more you play, the more chances you have. Don't miss your shot to make a splash this summer. Visit bestbetjacks.com for all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Get tips from PGA pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. Tuesday morning at 8:30. Teed up by Clearwater Irrigation and Apex Roofing and Contracting. Brunch provided by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
North Florida is growing with lots of new families joining our community. If you're one of them making the move here, your next move should be a call to American Electrical to create the best home automation system, enhancing your living experience. There are many ways your life can be made easier through smart home technology, voice-activated systems, automated lighting, total house temperature control. With American Electrical, they've got everything you need to automate your home and make it your true oasis. Check out American-Electrical.com, powered by professionalism and raising the excellence bar.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Looking for a great place to enjoy some craft creations and soak up some scenery? Fernandina's Mocama Beer Company is a must-see and must-try. Nassau County knows it. Visitors need to find out about it. Mocama means near the big water where the sun is born. And if you visit their tap room in Fernandina Beach, you'll see how they've mastered equal parts precision and art in creating great flavors from IPAs to Pilsners, lagers, and sours, plus plenty more. Mocama.com, Mocama Beer Company. Start an adventure and find them in Fernandina.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Let's start locally with a story that I just found out about 45 seconds ago, listening to you guys talk. So the A-Sun, now located in Jacksonville, is teaming up with the WAC to form some type of rebrand. Well, the WAC is rebranding to the United Athletic Conference, and together the ASUN and the UAC will form a consortium. Any idea what that means and what it will entail?
No. First of all, no.
Okay,
But here's it was announced earlier in the day. But here's what I've taken from this: the WAC is now going to call itself the United Athletic Conference. There's no more WAC; it's the UAC, and they're going to pick off a lot of the westernmost ASUN teams.
The teams that play football.
Okay, are they all football playing teams?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So I didn't realize that.
Okay.
So the ASUN, as we know it, will now have 7 teams, JJ. Bellarmine, Gulf Coast, Lipscomb, Queens, Stetson, and then, of course, JU and UNF. So the ASUN will be down to 7 teams. Now, they will probably... The consortium means they will probably schedule with the WAC because they know those teams or with the UAC.
Yeah, that word really just means association.
Yeah, but the bottom line is the ASUN's going to have 7 teams. Bellarmine, Gulf Coast, Lipscomb, Charlotte, Stetson, JU, and UNF.
And it starts next summer, so not for this upcoming basketball
That's
season.
correct. It starts July of 26.
Yeah, Queens.
Yeah, and our friend Gene Fournette tweeted, and I didn't realize this, that the ASUN, with its 7 teams, is going to have to find one more team to get, and I didn't know this either, to get its automatic bid to the NCAA basketball tournament. So apparently you have to have at least 8.
That would be my guess. I tried to quickly Google that. I didn't come up with anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, Clayton Freeman, who still works for Jacksonville Times Union, has an article on it, and that's where I learned a lot of information. But yeah, I would imagine that this has been in the works for a little while, and it's going to be interesting to see what teams they can, quote-unquote, try to pick off.
Yeah, I'll say this, JJ. The ASUN has changed memberships too much. All these conferences have. Maybe now these 7 plus one more who they add. Do you add Troy? When I guess the football playing, you got a non-football. But maybe now there will be some stability once they get this other team. We'll see.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to NBA/college basketball. So 2 more Gators drafted last night. That was Elijah Martin went 39 to Toronto, and Will Richard went 56 to the Warriors, as well as former UNF player Chaz Lanier went 37 to Detroit. And Florida State Jameer Watkins goes to the Wizards. Frank, you have a lot of Summer League to watch in a couple weeks.
Yes, I do. I'll also tell you now, of the schools with multiple draft picks, only 2 schools had more than 2. Duke had 5, Florida had 3, nobody else had more than 2.
Blue
so
blood.
Certainly that's
right.
Yeah, and hang on, I'm not done with my blue blooding. Just 4 schools had multiple players selected in both the NFL and the NBA draft. Only 4 schools had multiple players in both. Florida, Tennessee, Rutgers, and Kentucky.
Rutgers.
Only one
of these does not belong.
Oh, right, okay. Only one school had at least 3 draft picks in both drafts. That'd be your Florida Gators.
But of course, we like to say it around these parts, Gator boys stay hot.
Gator boys stay hot. Absolutely.
And speaking of, the Gators in the conference and everything, the SEC had 13 players, which led all of the conferences taken in these 2 days of the draft. The Big Ten 3 players behind with 10. And the ACC, the dominant basketball conference that is the ACC, only 8 players drafted from 4 schools. The Big East 5 and the Big 12 4.
Wow. Boy, I tell you what, it does put it in perspective. You're right about that. I will say this. Somebody tweeted, I don't know who it was, that Tom Crean, the longtime Indiana, Georgia basketball coach, said well before the draft that Will Richard will play 10 years in the NBA.
Wow.
He doesn't look like an NBA player to me. I hope he does, but he doesn't look like the kind of guy that could play in the league to me. And this is Tom Crean, who has forgotten more basketball than I'm ever going to know. Thinks he's going to play for many years. I was surprised he got taken. That one surprised me.
Yeah, because I don't watch the league closely, I don't know. But in watching him grow over the last few years at Florida, I can understand what Tom Crean's saying. And he's a strong guy, so he's a physical basketball player. He's relentless.
He's long.
He can shoot now. He's worked on his 3, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but it's surprised. Elijah Martin, JJ, didn't surprise me because he's so athletic. He's athletic. I told you, I think he could play in the NFL. I mean, he's such an explosive athlete. But Richard one surprised me.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that Walter Clayton Jr. played football, and of the 3, he does not look like
the least athletic guy,
the football player?
I expect Martin, 39 is pretty high. I expect him to be on the team most of the year, not like in the G League most of the time. All right, let's go. Go ahead.
I was just going to say good. That means Frank and I'll have something to watch, like you said.
And your boy Ace Bailey, your new Jazz player, he's reportedly reporting to Jazz camp or whatever tomorrow. So whatever you thought, maybe he didn't like the place he was drafted and his reaction, whatever. Listen, he's going to be there tomorrow. He has no other choice. All right, let's go. Go ahead.
The story was he didn't get on the plane or whatever.
Oh, wow.
But now he's going to be there. Yeah, he didn't get on the plane. They were going to pick up Clayton, and he didn't want to go. But now he's going to go. Maybe
now that Frank follows the Jazz beat reporters, he's going to fill us in.
Yeah, I said right. That is, and that, by the way, is your Utah Jazz update of the day. Continue, JJ.
Your Utah Minute. All right, let's go to the NFL.
We can sell that.
The Tampa Bay Bucks have given head coach Todd Bowles, and GM Jason Light extensions. The deal is a 3-year extension through 2028. And the funniest headline I saw about this was from Pro Football Talk, and it was just doing anything they can to get Bill Belichick in a headline, and it was like, well, one of the teams that Belichick could have came back to, now he can't.
Yeah, that's funny. I've heard what Pete Prisco said, JJ, and that is that Todd Bowles isn't sure he wants to do it much longer. His son's a freshman, I think, in college. He wants to go watch him play. I've heard that this has kind of run its course for him, but he signed a 3-year deal, so maybe that's not correct.
Yeah, surprising. All right, let's go to college football. Go ahead.
Sorry, JJ, I was going to say, by the way, these are the players that Jason Light has drafted. Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, Vita Vea, Anton Winfield Jr., Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, Kalijah Cansey, Kate Otten, Graham Barton, Cody Mock, and more.
Yeah,
so if you've done that good of a job, you deserve a contract extension.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to college football. Florida State landed a big-time recruit yesterday, 4-star wide receiver from Miami, Jason Lopez. It looks like he's going to play both basketball and baseball. And I bring that up to just give us like a recruiting football rankings, a couple seconds on that. I'll just give you the number one team. It's kind of shocking in the 2026 rankings. USC has signed everybody and their mother this recruiting cycle. They are number one. But locally here, Miami is the top team, 6. Florida State, with that signing, has moved into the top 10 of high school recruiting. They are number 9, and Florida not too far behind at number 12 in the 247 football rankings.
Yeah, and we've talked about Florida a lot because we tend to talk about Florida more in our program because we're Florida guys. I admit that. And we talked about Miami because they've recruited very well under Mario Cristobal. Give Mike Norvell credit. I mean, we haven't talked a lot about that, and not just our show. The arrow seems to be pointing down on Mike Norvell from so many, but he had a very active portal, and he's very active in college recruiting. I said this before. Maybe he's not a coach, and maybe he's not a good coach. He's going to get fired. That's what a lot of people think. But I'll give Mike Norvell credit, buddy. He's going down swinging. If he loses his job and is not the right FSU coach, as many suspect will be the end result, he's going down swinging. It really is.
Yeah, the tricky part is the signing days in December.
Yeah.
So if Florida State has another tough season,
can he make it?
And we know, right? Will those recruits stay? Will they hold?
That's a great
don't
point.
know.
That's a great point.
By the way, Todd Bowles' son, Troy Bowles, he's a linebacker. He recently transferred from Georgia to Michigan.
Right.
He was a 4-star recruit in the 2023 class.
Yeah, and
he's even farther away.
Yeah, he's a good player. And the word is Todd wants to see him play. So we'll see.
All right, let's go to baseball. A really unfortunate story. We talked about it earlier. Sad all around. Wander Franco found guilty in the Dominican Republic, but he doesn't get any prison time, a 2-year suspended sentence. The victim's mother gets 10 years for basically selling her own daughter to him. Just a gross story, ruined career. This girl's screwed forever, and the mom is in prison for 10 years.
Yeah, you just hit it. That's the recap, and it's and again, the reason the story is it's a horrible story, no matter who would be involved. The reason the story is of significance around here or in our country is he was a great player. This guy was on his way to being A-Rod. This guy was going to be better than Machado. This guy was going to be better than all the really good players who do what he does, and now we'll never know.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if he'll still play in like the Dominican League. I'm sure he probably will, and put up like insane numbers there. All right, so yesterday we had a Kershaw on the mound against the Rockies. Had a great outing. I love seeing Kershaw still playing and still being awesome. He's got like a 3.03 ERA. He had 5 strikeouts yesterday, which brings him to within 3 of 3,000. So if you look at the active leaders right now for strikeouts, it's really Kershaw and Chris Sale are really the only ones you can see getting to 3,000. It might be like a really, really, really long time till we see the next person hit 3,000. But next Kershaw start, make sure you're watching.
Clayton Kershaw, who pitched here in Jacksonville once upon a time, came on our show. As a matter of fact, when he was here, when Mike Dempsey and I were doing the show together, and he came on with us. It was pretty cool. One of the great left-handers of this generation. He doesn't get talked about as much because he's more mortal than he was once upon a time. That big 12-6 curveball that he still throws. One of the real good left-handers of our generation. And by the way, and who was his high school catcher? Who was Clayton Kershaw's high school catcher? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody?
Buster Posey? No, it wouldn't be Buster Posey.
Matthew Stafford.
Oh, yes, of course. They're good friends.
Matt Stafford was his high school.
I just thought of the best catcher.
Yeah, he was his high school catcher. So there.
All right, so we sticking with baseball. Not surprising, Judge and Ohtani are the first players added to the All-Star rosters. They are your top vote getters.
Yeah, as they would be and should be.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, deserved. A lot of times, the most popular guy gets the votes, not the best guy. In this case, it's the most popular and best guy.
Exactly.
And I saw JJ that the big dumper is going to participate in the home run derby.
I was
Cal
just
Raleigh.
about to say, Cal Raleigh.
Sorry.
It's all right. AKA Babe Ruth is part of the home run derby in Atlanta. He will be joining Ronald Acuna, and I'm sure those two that we just named are probably going to be in it. At least I hope so. With Judge and Ohtani.
Yeah, I wonder about Ohtani. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it will.
Okay.
Why wouldn't? Because he likes that stuff, and he's an unassuming guy.
Just because he's also pitching, and I don't know,
I think he will.
what the Dodgers
He's
want
a
to do.
showman. Yeah, he is. And it's still amazing, by the way, that in 1 year, Cal Raleigh, former Florida State player, who was kind of just a guy, has evolved into the second coming of Johnny Bench and Babe Ruth all in one. It's amazing that, honest to God, it's an amazing story.
Yeah, switch hitter. All right, one more baseball story. So the Mets did beat the Braves last night to take two out of 4 in this most recent series. But unfortunately for them, they lost Canning yesterday to an Achilles. Achilles everywhere, man. And I knew right when it happened. It's like we're all becoming Achilles experts. Unfortunately, he'll be out for at least the rest of this season and probably most of next season.
Yeah, those Achilles injuries, JJ, like you said, unfortunately, we're becoming experts that even though you can't hear the pop because you're watching it on TV, you can just tell the way that they crumble.
Yeah.
Like, it's different to me than an ACL injury.
I wonder why it seems like there's more. Now, there's not, I'm sure. But guys, maybe it just seems like there's more Achilles ruptures than there.
And they're sort of out of nowhere. Like if you saw this one, it was just him kind of getting off the mound at a weird angle. But it's a terrible injury, man. All right, last one before we get to our music. Golf today. Knapp shot 11 under 61 to set the Rocket Classic record that was held for exactly 1 day. Someone said it yesterday. So he started the second round 130th place in the 156 player field because he only shot 72 yesterday, but he surged in contention today with 9 birdies and an eagle in a bogey-free round.
It just shows you, honest to God, it just shows you how many really, really great players there are. There are so,
and that golf course is really easy.
Yeah, it is. but there's so, honest to God, there are so many great players. It's amazing stuff, really.
Yeah. All right. Our musical note of the day comes from a group formerly known as Smile. And on this day in 1970, Smile changed their name to Queen. And they performed for the first time under that moniker. And this is, of course, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
I did not know that. Did you know that?
I definitely did not know that. That was not in the movie.
I did not know.
I saw the movie. Is this your favorite Queen song, JJ?
I like to ride my bicycle. It's kind of fun. I don't know.
Bicycle,
but this
that's
is
a good one.
certainly one of them.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
Fat Bottom Girls.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Fat Bottom Girls is my favorite Queen song, and there's a lot of really good ones. I did not know that. Formerly called Smile. Well done,
I
JJ.
never knew that either. Yeah, great job.
We're live at Big Chief. We'll wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold
Carroll studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be running the Quaker State 400 at the Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta Sunday. Ryan Blaney is the betting favorite to take home the checkered flag. He is at plus 750. Joey Logano is at plus 850. Austin Cindric at plus 900. Brad Keselowski plus 1,200. William Byron also plus 1,200. And Kyle Busch is at plus 1,400. Christopher Bell, who won at Atlanta back in February, is plus 1,600 to take the checkered flag in Sunday's race. Formula One racing the Austrian Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri, who leads the point standings, is plus 180 to take the checkered flag for McLaren. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
With the first pick in the 2025 draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Duck Duck Rooter, the #1 plumbing, septic, and air conditioning contractor in Florida.
Congratulations, Duck Duck Rooter. So tell us, how does it feel to be picked #1?
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When you need help with any plumbing, septic, or AC issue, just give us a call and relax. We'll send one of our first-round draft picks to tackle your problems today. DuckDuckRooter.com. That's DuckDuckRooter.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter. And you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
This is Hayes Carline for Harrell & Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell & Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hunters know patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnit Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Do your summer plans include travel? Make sure your prep includes more than just flights and hotels. Stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccination, especially if you're 65 or older or have certain health conditions. There have been surges in COVID-19 in the summer, too. It's important to help protect yourself no matter your destination. So check eligibility and schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. That's VAXAssist.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. Went smooth as silk, was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Our son Eric's a Division I collegiate baseball pitcher who is having shoulder pain. We took him to Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and are confident that he's now on the road to recovery. This is Beth Anderson, and we love the care Eric receives at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
Hacker here, and it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Went on a cruise, went out to Las Vegas. There's been a lot going on, and the good folks of Awaken 180 understand that life goes on, man. It's all about losing weight. It's all about getting healthier, but the coaching I get with Awaken 180, my coach Kate, we make game plans for these trips. We talk about things to do, things to try to avoid, but she also understands that it's vacation, right? It's about life. It's about having a fun time. So right when we get back from these trips, I get right back on the program. Been doing it for over a year now, down over 100 pounds in the maintenance program. Awaken 180 is absolutely life-changing, but they understand life, which makes them a lot different from a lot of other weight loss programs. If it's time for you to drop some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800 and get involved with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
It's Mike Dempsey, and now's the time to get your roof hurricane ready with Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jax Beach. Look, our rainy season is no joke, and if your roof's got damage, leaks, or it's just plain worn out, don't wait. Apex is local, dependable, and will show up on time using only premium materials with ironclad warranties. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work you can trust. Skip the storm season scramble. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jax Beach, or visit apexroofingfl.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jax cool since '87.
All right, the big stuff today is we've been live at this wonderful Big Chief Tire location here in Mandarin. It's the 6th location. We gave away a bunch of tires, or they gave away a bunch of tires. Had a wonderful time here. Come see them again, right on San Jose Boulevard, just a hair north of I-295, south of Bay Meadows, right about in the middle there. Come by a big blue building. Can't miss it. So they're open during the regular work hours, Saturday or Monday through Saturday, and they do a great job. Oil changes and tires, of course, brakes, you name it. They've got
rotors. Don't forget the rotors.
You got to get. They have great rotors here. So come by and see our friends at Big Chief Tire. We also talked to Pete Prisco about all things NFL. We talked about the Wander Franco situation, and of course Walter Clayton. I was asking Lauren if she is as caught up in all the Walter Clayton stuff as everybody else in the Gator world seems to be. And that is where we've been. What country concerts you going? Do you have any country concerts? You're like concert girl.
I do
You're going to Shania,
like to go to some country concerts. Yeah, I just went to Tyler Childers at the Vistar Veterans Memorial Arena. He's very bluegrass.
I don't know who that is, but I know everybody knows who that is. So.
Yeah, he was great. And then went to the AMP and saw Dylan Marlowe and Bailey Zimmerman. And also Drew Baldridge opened as well. But
I don't know any of them.
Probably not. They're definitely newer country. Dylan Marlowe is one of my all-time favorites. Even though he's newer, I love him. He's very
all-time favorite.
Backwoods. Okay. Yeah, I really, really like him. Unfortunately, because he was not the headliner, he didn't get to play as much stuff. And then yes, Shania Twain, super excited. Daly's Place next month, right after my birthday, and then the big one will be Riley Green at Vistar Veterans Memorial Arena with your girl Ella Langley. Yeah, Drake White. Your girl Ella Langley.
Can I come just to hear the one song?
Of course you can.
Just the one Ella Langley.
You know they're going to play it together.
Yeah. I mean,
you look like you love me.
I'd like them. If I come, can they play it like 3 or 4 times, or just play it only once?
That's a great question. You know how at concerts they always have those little kids that have the posters that are handwritten.
Yeah.
I think you should bring a poster and ask them to play it multiple times.
What was it? Do you remember the concert where they played a song twice? Do you remember this? Maybe Hayes was telling me about this. It was one of the older groups.
Okay, and they just didn't remember?
I think they just forgot. But they really, it was one of the, we always go see the older groups, the Beach Boys and Doobie. Somebody played a song twice. Who was it that played a song twice? Was it the Doobie Brothers? And by the way, You never do that. I'd be fine with that. I mean, you can listen to the music 4 or 5 times. I mean, I'm good to play for 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
You can play the songs I like over and over. Who doesn't love that, right? That should be a new thing.
I just read that Paul Simon once played "You Can Call Me Al" twice in a concert. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't love to hear "You Can Call Me Al" twice?
Right, because we've talked about the bands that omit your favorite songs and their best-selling hits, like Accounting Crows hasn't played Mr. Jones or at the time that my friend saw him.
Hayes told that story.
Yeah, I have friends that saw them in Nashville when we were up there, and they didn't play Mr. Jones.
And I've told you my story.
Yes.
Lauren knows this song, but I'll tell it again. I saw 10 years ago, God is my witness, I saw the Marshall Tucker Band, and they didn't sing "Heard It in a Love Song." If the Marshall Tucker Band doesn't, they should have disbanded them right. How do they show up? How does the Marshall Tucker? It's not like they've got 90 songs.
Right, so what did they
They're
play
not
besides...
the freaking Beatles. How does the Marshall Tucker Band show up and not sing "Heard It in a Love Song"? What are you doing?
They only have 2 songs.
Who said that? This is good, this is good. Yeah, we'll go. They had 3 songs.
We got "Fire on the Mountain."
Right.
"Heard It in a Love Song."
And the big one, Can't You See?
Yeah, and Can't You See?
They had 3 songs. You can't not. The Marshall Tucker Band cannot come to the amp and not play "Heard It in a Love Song."
I agree.
What do you do? They should show. They can play just that and leave.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? I've never forgotten. I've told that story 1,000 times. I almost went back. What are you doing, guys? Were you breaking down the gear? You can't break down the gear. You can't not play "Heard It in a Love Song."
It's frustrating.
100% true story.
This is why some people tell me that I cheat when I look at set lists, but I look at set lists even before I book concert tickets, because if they're not playing something I want to hear, then I'm not buying the tickets.
And I think they were either opening for Fogerty or the Doobie Brothers or somebody who I liked way more anyway.
Right.
But it's not the point, okay? If I'm going to go early enough to hear "Can't You See" and "Fire on the Mountain," I'm going to hear the 3rd song too. Okay, you only got 3 for Guy now. So anyway, so there you go. All right, let's say hello to my friend Rick Ballou.
Now the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick, it's a true story. I saw Marshall Tucker Band one time, and they didn't sing "Heard It in a Love Song." Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, that's pretty poor. When you're a band like that with, you can count hits on one hand.
Right.
Play
them all.
My favorite Boston song is, I can't even think of it right now, "Hitch a Ride."
Yeah,
and every time I've seen Boston, they haven't played it. But Boston has, yes. But Boston, has 15, 18, 20 recognizable songs, many of which were hits. But, hey, I saw Marshall Tucker Band here on a Sunday in 1989. It was the day after Lord Favre came in and beat Florida State here on a Saturday. And it was at the Landing, and it was one of the hottest weekends that I ever remember. Marshall Tucker, and I was so out of it after that Florida State loss. I continued it on Sunday. I have no idea what they played.
One of the hottest games I've ever been to.
There's no doubt.
The football game.
Yeah.
Southern Miss FSU here at the Gator Bowl was one of the hottest games I've ever been to.
I got up with Peter Tom Willis last week when we celebrated the life of my father in Tampa. PT plays golf with my brother 3 times a week, and we were talking about that time in that game, and it's so amazing because they lost that, and then a week later, Terry Allen and Clemson goes into Florida State and wins. And, back then, the only team who won in Tallahassee was Miami. No one else won, and they did. But after that, Florida State went on an absolute tear. If there was a playoff then, I think they were the best team in America, come the end of the season. But, of course, we'll never know because they lost those first 2, and it knocked them out. Matter of fact, they beat Miami, and Miami won the national title.
I agree with that. I think they were that good. And, oh, by the way, at the end of that Southern Miss game, Florida State was losing. Desperation. They brought in some third-team quarterback and tried a double pass to him. Right. Threw it out, if you remember this or not. Some guy nobody had heard of called Charlie Ward.
Right.
Remember that, Rick?
Who was punting. Who was a punter.
Yeah, he was the punter, and they tried a double pass at the end of the game with Charlie Ward. Rick, what's coming up tonight on the program?
A whole bunch of that. I just feel like crying tonight and on a Friday, and what could have been, and why wasn't I 6'2", 210, and things along those lines. So we got all that coming up. We're also going to hear from Josh Evans, the former Gator and former Jaguar. He was recently out at the Millard Electric Center watching mandatory mini camp. So I got up with Josh a little bit. I met him years ago with Aaron Beasley and certainly covered him when he was here. But I like him. He's a good personality and interested to get from him what he thinks after what he saw over there with the Jaguars.
All right, Rick, we'll be listening. Thanks, buddy. We
Have a
appreciate
great weekend. Take care.
You too. Rick goes in tonight. Folks, that'll do it for our program one more time on a Big Chief Tire Friday. Thanks to our friends at Big Chief Tire, our friends the Parmans, who are so wonderful. The sixth location is here in Mandarin on San Jose Boulevard, just north of I-295. You're going to love this place just like you do all those other terrific Big Chief Tire locations. Love it on a Big Chief Tire Friday. That'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick is next. For Lauren Brooks, thanks for sitting in. We appreciate that. For the absent Hayes Carline, for JJ LaSelva, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.